Hello, welcome to the Foundry International. As you know, this magazine goes above and beyond in finding the origin stories, and this time we actually took a flight and went to Florida. I'm just kidding. So we came to Florida, well, through Zoom actually, to find this person who has created a healthcare app which is called W L WELL. It's a virtual healthcare services by profession. This person is actually a lawyer and he has this healthcare app service. And personally, I know him very well. And he's a commercial pilot student as well. So let me warmly welcome my friend Malik Leigh.
Good morning for me. I don't know what time of day it is for you.
It's actually 2:45 in the evening, in the afternoon for us, and it's 5 o'clock. Yeah.
That seems like a world away.
A world away. And here we are through the technology.
I'm typically up this early anyway, so I've been up for about an hour and a half anyway, so don't feel bad at all. Please, don't feel bad.
So tell me a bit about yourself before digging in deeper to the marketing side of the company that we are going to talk about.
Sure. Well, 48, live in the States, ex-military kid growing up. So I grew up all around the world for the most part. People here think I don't have an accent. People everywhere else obviously acknowledge that I do. I'm an attorney. I used to train bankers for a bunch of years. I am working on, I'm not a commercial pilot, I'm a private pilot. We're working on my private pilot's license. I used to fly 20 years ago, didn't for a really, really long time. Started up again here fairly recently. Through my work as an attorney, I've had education, civil rights type cases. I was more so dealt with divorce and family and dependency and stuff like that. People losing their kids, people trying to get their kids back, stuff like that. And, being a person of color, being a Black person here in the States, you can't escape the realities of, discrimination and in all walks of life. And so, there's certain things. I decided to become a teacher for a short amount of time. That kind of went left because I kind of empowered my kids the first year, and they took on their school district, and it kind of became an international thing. But outside of that, people here in Western countries, especially people of color, we tend to have the worst healthcare delivery systems. And they're not for any other reason other than the people who deliver the healthcare tend to be European or white folks. The people who need it tend to be everyone. However, you can't separate those biases in everyday life in some of these people's professional lives. And so when the pandemic came, me and my law partner knew immediately that it was going to affect Black and brown people here in the US way more than everyone else, aside from the fact that we're just typically skeptical because it was something that we needed to go to doctors for. And Black people here in the US, we have a love-hate relationship with the medical industry because they used to do tests on us without us knowing and stuff like that fairly recently. And we decided to try to put together something that had discrimination or the awareness of discrimination at heart. And that was the beginning of W L WELL VHS, or virtual healthcare services.
How does it work? What does it do?
So at its core, it is a telehealth platform. Okay. Telehealth since the pandemic has kind of just exploded. It's been around. Telehealth in and of itself has been around for a really, really long time. Different forms, of course. You call in or call a doc or all these other different kinds of things where you would just actually call. The law started to catch up because the doctors themselves, who have a better lobby than everybody else, said, well, people are going to end up using these than coming in to see me. And, typically doctors don't care about you. They don't care about, for the most part, they don't care about, and I'm generalizing here, but the healthcare lives of people. Many, not all, but many tend to care mostly about their own wallets, their own pocketbooks, or their own successes and stuff like that. And when the pandemic came and people were needing to go to the doctor, but they were also needing to quarantine. Well, how are you going to get the services that you need? Well, everybody on Earth has either, let me turn this thing off, one of these, one of these, right? So, because I've got both, because I got a test, and then they just kind of exploded, and so people started using telehealth way more. However, here in the U.S., Black folks and brown folks tend to not use those because same people are on the other side. And so we originally wanted to market more specifically towards those communities. However, you end up having a marketing problem here in the U.S. because Black and brown people tend to look at that kind of marketing as charity or targeted, because we're not stupid. And so we decided to stop doing that, but understood that we would have a focus more on these communities. But still, obviously, even from day one, it was available and open to everyone.
But
otherwise, we'd be discriminating on people just like we're saying everybody else was. I'm sorry.
But what sort of issues have you come up with? I mean, apart from the whole discrimination and the law issues and all that, to launch this app, and where do you stand with the app so far?
Well, like I said, at its core, it is a typical or a traditional telehealth platform. And when we started this, there still weren't very many. Okay. Since then, you have people with millions and billions of dollars, or have access to millions and billions of VC dollars and stuff like that, venture capital dollars. We had an idea. We had a core goal in mind, and we didn't seek that. Therefore, we didn't have other people coming in to yank those from us. And so the issues that we've had were a little bit fewer. However, what we did decide to do to stand out is to say, me being an attorney and my partner being an attorney, that this wasn't it. Okay, being an attorney, being a lawyer here, we deal with police shootings. It in and of itself becomes a meme as folks start to banter back and forth about different cultures or whatnot. The one thing that everyone says, well, at least we don't have people shooting up your schools or all this other stuff, right? So yeah, we do have an extremely bad gun culture here. However, on a medical context, we have 911 here for emergency calls. I'm not sure what that number there is. The UK it's 999.
It's 119 for us.
119, right? So we have 911. You have 119. I think the UK has like 999. Everyone everywhere has some kind, or most people,
some kind of a line.
Have some kind of line. However, here in the US, between 28 and 30% of all 911 calls are actually mental health related. They have absolutely nothing to do with I slipped, I fell, I broke an arm, or someone's trying to break into my house. They're all mental health related, specifically mental health related. However, the system, the procedure that exists currently is that they will send the police out first. Unless you say something specific like, a wall fell on me or something like that, excuse me, they will send the police out. Police are police everywhere, except for the ones that we see on TV in Norway and Germany that are supposedly, the best on earth. And police here in the US, as you've probably seen in the news, they shoot first and they don't even ask questions later. They just keep shooting, I guess. And so what ends up happening is you have people that are having, mental distress. They typically don't know what they are or where they are or what's going on. They have something missing. It's a medical issue, right? But they'll send the police out who have no training in that. The police come out, they're there to observe behavior. And the way that the law is if they themselves feel threatened, then they can shoot you and use deadly force to protect themselves. Then you add the biases and all this other stuff. So what we ended up doing was we added a component to the VHS system called the ESB, the Emergency Services Beacon, right? Which is kind of like this little thing we got behind us.
Yeah, okay? I can see that.
Is the Emergency Services Beacon, and what that's designed to do is a person that is having specifically a mental health distress emergency, they can tap this button. Instead of it getting routed to the police, it goes straight to a mental health professional where they have mobile crisis respondents and stuff. Some cities do, most, I'd say about 90 to 95% do not have this, but it's designed to go to one of these folks where they can respond to it right then and there and go to wherever the person that needs personal service, if they need personal service. So last year, the US added this phone line called 988, specifically for mental health related calls. The government was mandating it. It was supposed to go to the states. They were supposed to do it. But none of this, for the most part, most states didn't do anything. They just created something. So we wanted to create a tool that made it easier for the states, because each state here works independent amongst itself. It's just how ridiculous sometimes the US can be. And so there's no uniformity. So we created something, a tool for all of these states to use so that it would protect people. And so that's what we have. And so what we looked at was, if you improve your system, if you create something that other people just don't have, they should gravitate towards it. So what we decided to do then is just start marketing it towards cities, as opposed to, it's still available as a commercial platform, but we want to market it towards cities so that cities can adopt it themselves and tell their citizens and the residents, use this so that you can get the help that you need.
So as far as I know, this app you have launched in the US, and you were doing it in the Europe as well, and you were hoping to come to Sri Lanka as well. So what's the progress?
Well, one, we got busy.
Yeah.
Two, we got hit with a really tough testing snag. So which, this isn't the first platform that me and my partner have had, okay? And, be here in the States, we've got different realities. Obviously, I don't let it stop me, because I just, keep it going. But here in the States, developers and entrepreneurs like myself, we've got a double-edged sword, okay? We have dreams and aspirations to try to create things like other people. And you tend to have gatekeepers.
Yeah.
If you let the gatekeepers stand in front of you, then it just is what it is. Otherwise, you just try to create your own lane. The first platform that we had, which we still have it, which was called DapplePay, which was designed to create a banking setup and system for people who traditionally cannot get banking accounts. Here in the States, another way to discriminate is they'll do what's called cashless banking. So all you're using is your debit cards, credit cards, or your Zells, and the like little phone type of, not phone, but I cannot think of the words I'm trying to search for, but they're kind of like mobile. They're kind of like mobile wallets. You could do like what's Zelle or Cash App or Venmo and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they have those in Sri Lanka or not, but it's like PayPal. And
we don't even have PayPal yet.
But you have to have them linked to a bank account for the most part, right? For the most part. Some of them you don't, but your money stays within it. And so how some cities were doing was they were deciding to ban cash, because poor people have cash because they can't get bank accounts. They literally they don't qualify. The banks will discriminate against them. And then they're charging you like ridiculous amounts of money every month to pay rent for the privilege of holding your money, right? That they don't do it, that they loan out, and one of those banks that we were going to use was Silicon Valley Bank. Obviously that just went under. That just went under, right? But when you're the dynamics, because there's a lot of regulation that's involved, they tend to have to know who are all the founders and the whole nine. And you have face-to-faces. And they saw this face. And every single one said, I don't believe that you could have made this, or that you can make this. That was the statement, that you can make this. Like literally all of them. There was this one. There was another company in Iowa called Dwala that's gone further into digital banking. Almost all of them. There was not Manhattan State Banking, but there's another one that was in New York that tend to be in this sphere, in this space. And they said, we don't believe that you could have done this, that you can do this. I said, there is no can. It's already developed. It's already there. I just need to connect it. And at that, I will send you a version. Let me show you. And at that point, I'm now showing them up. This guy is now showing them up with this whole system. And of course, I'm giving you like the bare bones about it, but there's a ton that's within it.
The result could have been different if it would have been a white person.
Well, with the exception, there's, Silicon Valley Bank going under is a whole lot more than that. However, one of the main issues with a bank going under is cash and cash flows and some of this other stuff. As them being our only FBO, they probably would not have had any issues. But hey, karma works how karma works sometimes. And there's other banks that I'm hoping, follow the same track. So, but those are the kinds of obstacles that we'll run into. But it's easy to use that as an excuse, as a crutch to, they're trying to keep us down and black people and all this other stuff. And it's like, it is what it is. The need for a platform like ours is needed everywhere, right? NHS is complaining about stuff. That's because they have an old antiquated system. And even if they put more money into it, they're still wasting it because the system's not going to change. If they had a system that was very similar to ours, or integrated bits and pieces of what our stuff does, it'd be a completely different and probably better system. But,
so
people with grayer hairs than me are running it.
Is there a particular day or a time frame that you would actually like to launch this app in other countries as well?
Here's the thing. I can launch, with the exception of OFAC countries like Iran and Cuba and places that we're supposed to hate because somebody else hates it.
Yeah.
I can turn on Sri Lanka in 30 seconds. I can, as long as I have certain bits of information, I can turn on any particular country. I almost feel like I'm the arbiter of bad luck because I was communicating. I think I told you this a long time ago. This is a little offline conversation previously. We were trying to get a hold of the people in Tonga the week of the volcano.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's what ultimately, some of their internet cables were cut and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I was communicating with you, and then
Sri Lanka, and then the right happened.
I don't know, like 3 or 4 days later, Sri Lanka goes up. So, and there was one other place. I can't remember the other one. There was a third one, but
well, they do say that the third time is charm.
Huh?
The third time's a charm, so let's go for the third one.
Yeah, but I would love to go to Colombia. I would love to go to, it's not just Western countries. Everybody needs, I would love to be in, your South Asian countries where they do have some semblance of government healthcare. However, it's, the levels and quality are let's just say, discriminatory, right?
Yeah.
So I would, but the thing is, if you have a tool to be able to create a system around, then that makes it a whole lot easier to improve your system. And so we would like to be that system because we can tailor make it for certain places, however they may need it. If we need to change the language, obviously you have to change language. We can change the language up. Some countries may have a shared or pay model, some might not, and the people that have access there will have access there. So you can change, I can change and add countries pretty easy. I'm not going to Russia, so that, there's no issue there.
Well, that's a separate story though.
That, yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, they'll need way more help. Plus,
So
yeah,
why do
making
you
a call
think?
to a. I
So
was gonna say, making
why do
a
you
call to a
think?
doctor might
Yeah.
be your last call.
So why do you think between the generations, in this generation
Mhm.
and the before generation, what do you think are the positivities that you see in the creators or the innovators like you guys? And what do you think we lack in this generation to go after the dreams and the passion that we have?
Time. I would say time. You're looking at time right here. I think that, I think the base of your question is folks like myself versus younger folks. So there's a difference because none of this stuff existed in half of my lifetime,
Yeah.
right? Many young people, I'm 48, okay? So half of my lifetime would have been 24, okay? When I was 24, that was 1998, I think, right? First of all, there was no smartphones, okay? There was no MacBook Pros. There might have been webcams, but it would have been
And
like,
no Zoom calls, yeah.
yeah, it would have been really sketchy and stuff like that. The internet was still dial up. We didn't have this faster kind of stuff. I mean, people don't realize that most of all of this stuff has only been in the last 6 or 7 years. 6 or 7 years. I was teaching within that time, and I feel like I was only doing that like a year ago. It has been 6 or 7 years since I was doing that, right? And I only did it, I was volunteer for a little while and then just taught for a year. So, the iPhone didn't come out until, what was it, 2006/7. That was the first one, and it was rudimentary. Hulu Live, right? I don't know if you guys have Hulu or if you're familiar with it, but like Hulu Live.
Oh, okay. I know Hulu through that Kardashian family reality thingy.
Yeah, it's like a streaming service, like live streaming services to your phone. That's only really been around since 2016, right? So all of this stuff is new, and so yeah, YouTube's been around since, I can't remember, maybe 2007 or 8 or something like that. But as we know it now, YouTube is really 5 years old. And so some of these people,
Okay, our connection got
in
cut.
11 and 18,
Okay, no
19.
worries.
Huh?
No, halfway through the connection got cut off, but you're back again.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
yes.
sorry. I was gonna say, so some of these people, as they started to become, 13, 14, 15 to 24, 25, that's only been within the last 5, 6, 7 years. So they've only ever known this kind of technology, and they just want it faster or whatever. Whereas we come from, when I was, younger, man, it would be so cool to have video phones. That's what we used to always talk about. I mean, it's so cool to have video phones. Now, no one wants to even call, let alone do, this kind of stuff or
A
FaceTime.
video
We
phone,
do it
yeah.
right. Nobody ever wants to just talk on the phone. They want to text and all this other stuff. So, and even watching, how that grew with the Sidekick or the BlackBerry and all this other stuff, like texting was actually looked at negatively in the early 2000s, right? So watching out all of that stuff, if you got a flip phone, that was the coolest thing in the world. Now, if you got a flip phone, you're ragged on, right? You're like,
Yeah, you're like, oh, what are you doing?
yeah,
with the
Inspector Gadget flip phone,
man?
right? So the people now, they want stuff so much quicker, and they tend to not have the patience. And for what we've been doing, it's been 2-3 years, and it's going to grow. And to get to the different cities and all this other stuff, it's going to take years to get. I mean, the Earth is a big place, so it's going to take a while to get all around it. You know what I mean? It took a few thousand years for people to get around it. We've got technology, and it's still taking a while. It's just speeding up a little bit. So, people just need to have patience. Understand that your goals may not change, but they can evolve,
Yeah.
right? And people don't quite get that. They think, oh, it's got to change everything. So no, you just have to evolve it, tweak it just a little bit. Don't give up. If you do give up, that's okay too, right? Just have a reason why you gave up. People are so afraid to fail that, I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, you know. But if you don't put everything into it, then you immediately fail before you start. So that's
Any final words that you would like to say to the people who are watching this video in Sri Lanka and the world regarding the app and regarding as a person who found things and went through life?
Well, the first thing I would say is donate all kinds of money to me. Just donate it. Just do it. Because I'll use it, you know. But you know, well, first of all, you know, if you want some information on it, you can go to www.WLWell.com. What is my website? WLWell.info. I'm so used to just doing the QR code and just shooting it. So WLWell.info. Like that right there, if you can ding your phone to it, because I have it up there for a reason and it interferes in court when I have hearings. It messes up with people's phones, so it's pretty hilarious. And get info on it. I'm never a person that just wants to sell someone something or say, hey, just do this, do that. It's like, do your own bit of research. Always, on anything and everybody. Do your own little bit of research. Look and see what we're about. And if you like it, give me a shout. I talk to folks all the time, and I will give you all the information if it's something that you think that I should talk to your city government or commissioners or whatever the system setup is. Then we would love to come out there. Most of the things that we have in our platform is free. Like the mental health stuff is free, right? It's free. It's like we would, you know, there's no pay component on our side. So, but I would just, you know, go to the website, look at it, see how it works. Please don't try to steal it. But if you do, hopefully, you know, you get something out of it. Just do it right so it doesn't, you know, mess up or hurt anybody. But other than that, you know, what questions do you have for me? I'm the attorney. I'm typically asking people questions.
Well, that was my turn to question an attorney.
Good Lord. Well, you know, attorneys, as they say, the whole sharks and bottom of the ocean and all that stuff. Attorneys, we stink as people anyways.
Well, thank you so much for actually joining us today with the whole Founder International, and we hope to have you more over, and I hope to see you in Sri Lanka with the whole app, because I want to actually see this up and running here as well, because we would love to see that.
To be honest, I would love to have it there. I would have to come out there to train folks anyway, which is not whole. I mean, obviously I can do it in this way, but I mean, if I can, I'll go anywhere. You know, I love traveling. That's why I fly. But yeah, I would love to go out there. You know, there's a couple of people having a few arguments out there in Sri Lanka. I've heard here recently in the last year, just ongoing argument. I think that's what it's called. But no, I think it would be fun. I think it'd be fun. You know, a lot of beaches. The mountains look cool. You know,
a pretty country, I'm telling you, a very beautiful country.
Yeah. So I mean, I haven't been to South Asia. I grew up in Asia, but I've never been to South Asia. And I know it's hot. It can't be any hotter than it is here, so I'm probably pretty good.
I mean, it's pretty hot here as well. Right now,
it'll be 90 today. I don't know. Is it 90 there today?
I don't think so. I hope so. I hope not.
It is 90.
I mean, for you, it's the degrees. For us, it's to say, what do you call it, Celsius. So for us right now, it's 31 Celsius. So I have no idea regarding the degrees.
Let's not get started on the old Celsius argument. I hate Celsius. It's like, what degrees is it? Is 40 or 17 or 12? Like, all right, is it hot or is it ice cream weather?
Well, it's like a very hot weather. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time that you have spent the whole time as well, and we will hope to see you again soon. And this is the Founder International, and we hope to bring you more episodes on the international platform with more founders and creators in the upcoming episodes as well. See you soon.